Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my workshop. Now, I've been putting this moment off, but I don't think I could put it off for any longer. Whew. Not sure how we're going to do this. This guitar is really coming on. Now, if you've missed this series, I'll put a link to the playlist just up there so you can go back and watch all the fun and how I got to this point. But if you've been with me all this while, thank you very much indeed. And you will know, well, it's about 12 or 13 episodes now, and well, I've got to wrap this project up because it's gone on so long. Essentially, I'll have to fit the bridge and the saddle and fit the nut and the machine heads, etc., and then it's done. But before I do all of that, I've got to stain the back and the ribs. Now, I've got the stain. This is Belen Solar Lux Stain Cherry, and it's the stain that I used originally on this guitar when I did its previous so-called refurb, and it's left some stain in there. I can't get rid of it, so I might as well go back to that. And I'm just really scared. I don't know why, but once this goes on, it goes on, and that's the end of it. So, do you know what? If the guitar plays okay, it'll be fine, whatever it looks like. I'm just going to give it a go. So I shall get my rubber gloves on, and let's have a look how this stain goes on. Now, usually with these sorts of videos, you know, the stain goes on this beautiful wood and you think, whoa, that is fantastic. In this case, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's going to be, oh my God, what's happened there? Anyway, let's see. Let's see. Come on, Dave. You can do this, boy. You can do this. You can do it. I've just opened the door, let a bit of air in, but I mean that doesn't look too bad, does it? I think I might sand it back a little bit. Some bits where it's not really taken, but actually that looks better than I thought it was going to look. Okay. Now I think I'll tackle the ribs. And I want to be careful because I'd like to keep the top light. So, yeah, let's see if we can do that. Easier said than done. Well, the back, not so bad. The ribs and the neck, not so good. Gonna let it dry and perhaps sand it back a bit, and see if we can get a slightly more even coverage. Yeah, it is what it is. You know, joking aside, I think once I've got some varnish on this, then it'll bring out all the deep texture of this guitar. I think it's going to look quite smart, to be perfectly honest with you, and it's going to be something I'm going to be certainly proud to play, and that tone I think is going to be fantastic. Anyway, yeah, this has got a cure for a bit, so I'm going to leave it and come back tomorrow. Right then, well, I'm really excited to be back in the workshop after a few days wallpapering. And I'll give you a tip. If you've got some old rolls of wallpaper, hang on to them, because the back of the wallpaper is absolutely fantastic for drawing out the design of your next guitar. Especially if it's one of those smooth papers and not an anaglypta paper, which I've got a roll of. But anyway, I've been using some lining paper, which is going to make some smashing guitar design paper. Anyway, I'm back to this guitar, really excited about that. I've put a couple of coats of this cherry stain on the back, and I think I'm going to have a go at trying to put some oil on it and see what it looks like. I've just found the nut that I took off, and I'm just wondering whether this nut will fit back on it. I mean, it seems a shame not to use it because there's nothing wrong with it. So I've got my flat pencil there. So this is a pencil which has been, well, it was cut in half. I can't remember how I did it. I probably planed it. And so I'm just going to lie that onto the frets and draw a line. Let's see now. Right, so the line is touching on the bottom of the low E string, and it's just under the top E string, so it's right on the edge of being right, which may mean that I might need to lift it a bit, and I think I can do that by just putting a shim of wood underneath it. But this is going to have to wait for a little while, because I think the next thing I need to do is oil this guitar. Although before I do that, I'm just going to mark where the bridge has got to go so that I can put some tape on there so I don't oil that part. And to do that, I'm just going to put a couple of bits of tape just to mark where it needs to be. That's around there. The centre of the bridge, which is marked just on the front, is there. And we're looking at a 650 scale length, so that puts the bridge about there. Not sure that this is the best way of doing it, but it's the way I'm going to do it. Well, I notice that I have knocked it slightly out of kilter. It would have helped to have stuck the bridge down, but there you go. Basically, I just want a strip of tape in there. So the point of this is just to end up with a patch underneath the bridge with no oil on it. So at least I've got something to glue it to. I've not 100% decided quite how to fix this bridge. Obviously gluing is one option. Well, I think gluing is the main option. It's just whether I actually put some pins down to secure it a little bit more. I'm not sure about that yet, but let's get on with the oiling. I like the look of the Danish oil on the top of the guitar. I'm just wondering how it will react with the cherry stain on the bottom. So I've just got this test piece here, which I painted a few days ago. So my tin now has got completely jammed up. Okay, right, got that off. I actually think that's going to look quite nice, you know. It's going to need quite a few coats, I think, but yeah, I think that's going to look nice. Right then, I'm going to mask up, get some rubber gloves on and get oiling. Well, okay, so I've got about 5 hours to kill according to the tin. That's how long it takes to dry between coats. So what can I do? Well, I thought what I would do is restring my Guild acoustic guitar, because I don't think it's ever had new strings on it, you know, ever since I bought it, and that was, well, quite a while ago. And there's a bit of a story behind this too. I'll tell you as I do the strings. I actually got this guitar from GAK or GAK down in Brighton in the UK. Fantastic guitar shop, and went into their acoustic section and wanted to buy a guitar and had a budget, and the chap said, oh, make yourself comfortable, try out all these guitars. So it was absolutely marvellous. There was me trying out all these guitars. And I was trying this guitar and I said, do you know what, Carolyn, I like this one. It was a beautiful guitar. It wasn't glossy, it was sort of a sheen finish, but beautiful wood, if you know what I mean. And the action on it was absolutely fantastic, and the tone was, well, amazing. So there was a number written on the guitar, so we went to the counter there and said, yes, could we have this guitar please? And I got out the amount of money that was on the number, me thinking that that was the price. It wasn't the price, it was a code. I think it was a tailor, and well, the cost was incredible. So a little bit embarrassed, I had to put that back, and I set about looking for another guitar. And then I discovered this beautiful instrument, this Guild guitar, which actually has wonderful action. The wood again is absolutely beautiful, and it's lovely to play. And so it was within my budget, so fortunately I came away with a guitar, albeit a little bit embarrassed. But there you go. Hey, if you've got a story about how you came across your favourite guitar, then hey, please share it in the comments below, because it's wonderful to read all these stories. The first gig, favourite album, magic. I know it may seem a bit daft, but I do like to hang on to old strings because they are really useful when you're setting a new guitar up, and you have a lot of fiddling around, because nothing worse than putting brand new strings on and then having to take them off and then putting them back on again, and of course they end up snapping and you've lost a set of perfectly good strings. So this little device just keeps them nice and stretched so they don't get too tangled, and I can hang it on the wall. Bingo. Okay, well, the headstock's a bit dusty. It looks like the fretboard could do with a bit of an oil and a general polish up on those frets, and I think the whole lot could do with a bit of a dust off with a clean cloth. So let me get on with that. Aha. And we see Dave's been at work here. Okay guys, dreaded Dave the bodger has been at work here. Now obviously I wanted to lower the action on this nut and then lowered it too much. And I stuffed it with loads of bits of plastic. Look at that. Okay, let's see if we got a new one. Fortunately I do have a new one. So come on, let's do this properly now. I've learnt a few things since I started doing this, and one of them is not to stick loads of bits of plastic in to prop up the bridge. So that will fit nicely in there, and well, obviously I needed to make some sort of adjustment, but not as much as I was that I obviously did make, as you can see from that. So I'll polish up and then sort that out. I'm just going to use some boiled linseed oil on the fretboard. That should be okay. Get it off. I know it'll smell like a plumber's joint, but at the end of the day, it'll wear off. But it just cleans up the fretboard. I apologise for this digression in the middle of my 50-year-old guitar restoration video, but normal service will be restored soon once that oil has dried. Give it a good polish. I'd honestly forgotten that these tuners were shiny and not matte. All the grease on them. Beautiful. That looks really nice. Okay, back to this bridge. Now what I did was I put all the plastic padding back in, put the old bridge in, and I measured it with these calipers here. And I've now worked out that I'm about 1 millimetre higher with this bridge. So I'm just going to take just about 1 millimetre off the bottom of there. I don't want to overdo this. And I mean, the action may be a little bit higher when I've finished, but actually that might be better. That looks just about right. So I'm going to go with that. Excellent. So I think it's time to put the strings back. Now then, please don't judge me, but I'm using these Gear for Music electric guitar strings. You can buy 5 packs of these for less than the cost of 3 packs of some of the branded ones. And I've had it on my PRS and I had no problems with them. So I'm going to put it on this guitar. They don't even tell you what the gauge is. It's very fine. I'd say it's about 9, 10 maximum. It's probably more nearer 9, to be honest with you. It's just, they're just numbered. And for some reason I always start with the bass string. No idea why. If you're new to guitars, always be careful of these strings because they can jab you just like that. And then you've got blood oozing out your finger all over your fretboard. Oh well, this has been fun. I mean, there's nothing like stringing up a guitar for action-packed videos, isn't it? So I hope you've been able to nip off and make yourself a nice cup of tea while I've given you this interlude. Right, last one. Right, all I need now is the peg. So, whoops, poke the little end piece down, followed by the peg, and wrap it around the peg at this end. Wrap it around the post, I should say, and poke it through. It looks rather strange. What did I do there? I do have a winder somewhere, I don't know where I'll put it. The strings are on, and this is the bit which I know some people are sort of frightened to do, but it is really important. That is to stretch the strings. So just grab hold of them, pull them up. Don't worry, they're not going to snap. And just get the tuner on there. And there's the A string. Stretch it again. Bring it back up again. And the battery's going flat on the tuner, which is great. Just when you want it to. We're near enough with B. Let's try the top E. I think this is the string that people worry most about because it is so fine. We're on E. Right, I shall race to try and get it all in tune before the battery goes completely flat. And it'll probably go out of tune for, I know, the next couple of hours. Once it's settled down, I'll retune it and it should stay tuned. But the action actually is pretty good. Ah, there's a job done. No sponsorship here. I just discovered these strings, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm quite pleased with these, and they're quite cheap. So if you're a bit tight on cash in these difficult times, try those. Well, it's been a little bit more than 5 hours. In fact, it's been a few days since I started oiling this guitar, and I'm now on coat number 5. And I'm going to apply this coat with some 600 grit wet and dry, just so that I can sort of smooth off the top and the body as I go. So, quick mask up. Well, I don't mind telling you that's a bit hard on the old arm, so I'm going to have a bit of a rest now and let that dry again. Patience, that's what it is. Patience, that's what you need. Okay, I'm going to do, well, I think it's coat number 5 on the back of the guitar, 6 on the front, and this is coat number 1 on this bridge. And with that, I'm going to have to call this video done so I can get away and edit it. Thank you very much again for watching. This guitar is coming on. We are very close to finishing it. It's just got to have a bit of patience with this oil. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your comments. Really enjoy those. Now, I've been having a bit of fun with these shorts, these YouTube shorts. And well, I've made a rather silly video which I was going to put up, and then I sort of pulled it off because I thought, well, it is a bit daft. But if you want to watch my Dave in Shorts silly video, I'll put a link in the description below. Anyway, in the meantime, stay safe. Cheers.